hang on, I'm gonna go get that pillow. Raise me up so I can sit on pillows. Raise me up to make it feel better for my butt. I'm old, man. I can't sit on a regular ass chair anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Sit there for too long. You're like, I
can't
feel
do
it in my bones, Annie.
No. I feel it in my bones, Annie.
I feel it in my bones, Annie.
Storms are coming, Annie, but it's in my butt.
It's a butt storm.
It's a butt storm, Annie. Okay. Hello, Dustin.
What's up, man?
Do you have something to disclose? So sorry. I said
Hi, my name's Dustin.
I promised my wife I'd stop doing that. No. Yeah. Well, great. Well, what do you say we get on to it? This is I got nothing to prep you people on at all. Hope you enjoyed the last episode. Next week we're talking about Toy Story 5, I think, right, Dustin?
Yeah, as far as I know.
I mean, I'm seeing it this weekend. Are you?
I haven't bought tickets, but sure.
Oh, how non-committal.
Yeah, no, I should be seeing it this week.
Everybody. I haven't bought tickets either, but I have made plans.
Okay, I've not made plans.
I'm off work the day this comes out, Friday. I'm off work for Juneteenth, and so cool. I'm just like, oh, great, okay. That's so I have like this big window that opened up. So
yeah, sweet.
Anyways, I'm likely to see it. We'll see. Stay tuned, everybody.
Stay tuned.
Okay, Dustin.
Yes,
you have seen Disclosure Day.
The day of disclosure.
The day of disclosure. It's here.
It's here.
Yes.
What's up? Welcome.
Woo.
Welcome. I, for one, welcome our alien overlords. What was that? They're here. Oh my gosh. They're in your home.
My children made such a mess and I didn't clean it up. Someone, if they hadn't, like, needs to, that guy on Instagram who like made like that, if wedding guests like Star Wars and it's like the Mandalorian, but it's made like trap music.
Yeah.
Just a matter of time. But keep an eye on that guy because it's going to be like. Anyways, nobody knows what we're talking about. No, my kids.
I love that trying to sync up timing to music over Zoom is not probably like this recording is going to be like real wonky.
Oh, I'm going to fix it in editing. It's cool.
Okay, great.
No, I made a huge, the kids made a huge mess and there's toys everywhere. And the kitten is not quite adept at understanding what is a reliable surface to stand on.
Oh, sure. So, yeah.
Couldn't have been better on cue though. Now he's in the background chasing a fly.
Oh, gotcha.
I'll be like reading and I'll see him just like run and like jump and like swat at nothing. And I laugh and I'm like, oh, he probably sees a fly that I don't see.
Yeah.
He's not just stupid.
That's right.
Anyways, okay. Sorry. Disclosure Day.
Disclosure Day.
What did you steal?
Secrets. The data they paid me to protect.
Are they people?
No.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Let's today is today's.
Do you understand what she's saying?
I hear it. It's gibberish. I can't understand it.
And I can.
What's happening to me?
People are starved for the truth. I'm a part of it now. I'm just sorry they made you a part of it too.
Hello, Jane. Please, have a seat.
This 79-year terror campaign of lies has to end.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world.
That truth will upend all established order across the entire world. If you do this, there's no undoing it.
Why would they do this?
When the time is right, everything will become clear.
Whatever happens,
Don't you let go.
Yeah, man. So Disclosure Day is the newest film by Steven Spielberg. I'm going to be honest. I went into this knowing basically nothing. I think I saw that teaser trailer and then was like, I'm done. No more trailers for me. I was already going to see it anyway. So what's the point? And I'll just go in cold. So I didn't know anything about this movie. I knew there were aliens and that's about it. So the premise of the film is we follow essentially two protagonists. The first is Josh O'Connor's character, Daniel Kellner. Daniel works for a company, I believe it's called like Wardex, and they're a sort of an offshoot of the DoD, and they have all kinds of classified knowledge, which Daniel is privy to. And so the film begins with him having stolen all of this information and he's ready to make it public. He believes that the world is entitled to the disclosure that there may be extraterrestrial life or that there is extraterrestrial life. And so he's risking life and limb to get it to the American people. Meanwhile, Margaret Fairchild, played by Emily Blunt, is our second protagonist. She's a weather person from, I think, Kansas City. So Margaret is, she has aims of being more than just a meteorologist. She wants to move up in the world, so to speak, at least in her eyes. And so she's trying to get the lead anchor desk. And so
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I was
so
like, it's a pretty big market, Kansas City.
She does want to move to a bigger market, but she also wants, she just wants more. And so she's dating Wyatt Russell's character.
What? Really?
His name is Jackson. Yeah. And so Jax is like a musician, and he's kind of been following her on this trajectory of going from city to city and expanding her reach, so to speak. And so he's tired. He wants to take a break.
It's crazy when the musician's like, I want to set down some roots.
Yeah, I want to set down some roots.
Yeah.
He was done. He's like, I'm gigging here and things are going well. I'm in the flow. I'm great.
I've got a community. I've got audience. I built a vibe here. I don't have to start over. Sorry, I'm fixating on this. It's just I've come from the news, and so I'm intensely interested in her in her career aspirations and.
Well, it is at least somewhat worth pointing out that the film treats it as if seems like people don't just land in meteorology, they study it and it becomes a thing. It feels to me like you probably don't go into meteorology going, I hope this is a stepping stone to something else. It feels like you're mostly pretty committed to it. Yeah,
that's the way I understand it. The only time I've seen people do meteorology and I've rarely seen meteorologists anchor, and that's only if they had a background. A lot of markets, smaller markets, will make them do both. They'll be reporters and meteorologists, unless you're the chief meteorologist or you're on the morning shift or something. You have a dedicated amount of shows to do. If you're the weekend person, if you're in a swing position, you might do a bunch of other stuff. But I do find it a little strange that she was like, I don't know. I'm a meteorologist. I made it all the way to Kansas City. I think I want the anchor desk. So
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
I don't see that very often, but if you're telling me this person kind of has this kind of unquenchable ambition within her field, then okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Sorry, everybody.
No, it's all good. And it's a valid point. And so she and Jax have sort of like this chance meeting when a cardinal flies into the room and stares at her. And when the cardinal leaves, she's speaking like fluent Russian. And she thinks she's speaking English. Jax hears it as Russian. And then he kind of like snaps her out of it. She's back to English and she's like, oh, whatever. And so this begins like a series of weird things that she's somehow now able to do.
Is it restricted to language or is it like other skills?
No, other skills.
Oh.
So no spoilers,
sure.
But yeah, there are a ton of things that she's now able to do, which she was not able to do prior. And so through the course of the film, we learn a little bit more about her backstory. We learn a little bit more about Daniel's backstory and, how those stories are affecting them currently, like past traumas, past relationships, familial, issues, all these things. We get to know the characters more as the film goes on. But of course, the aim of the film is Wardex is after Daniel and his thumb drives that he's stolen. And Margaret is headed to Daniel, inexplicably drawn to his whereabouts. And that's about all we know. So the film plays really heavily on providing and withholding. It's withholding a ton of information. There is exposition for sure. And those scenes are fairly, A, probably necessary, but B, not done in the best way. It does feel very, exposition heavy. But at the same time, there's a lot of withholding of things from us, which I both appreciate and in a movie like this, somewhat don't appreciate. Typically, like when a film like holds everything in and goes like, it'll all make sense later. It'll make sense later. It'll make sense later. I can generally go along with it. When the things that you're giving me are so extraordinary, it does feel to me like there should be something else, something to help explain away the disbelief in my mind. And you don't get a lot of that here, at least not early in the film. So from what I understand, people are falling into a couple camps. There are those who really enjoy the film and those who don't. And the ones that don't typically are saying something like the characters are weak or the mechanics of the plot are weak. There's some sort of weakness in the explanatory power of either character motivation or lore. And I would agree. Where I landed on the film is middle of the road plus. So I'd say like 3.5 stars. I think it's good, but not great. The screenwriter is David Koepp. David Koepp is a little hit or miss for me. He can hit like Jurassic Park, right? Yeah. But he can miss big time. Like Dial of Destiny was a big miss for me. Yeah. So yeah, it could go one of two ways. Steven, however, is still fantastic. Clearly a master at what he does. He's getting great performances from his actors. Every shot is a painting. Every shot is like worthy of putting on your wall. There's some really memorable images in the film, really memorable moments. And there are some moments that feel a little cookie cutter. And I'm not going to say it's cookie cutter because no one's caring, but cookie cutter because it almost feels like he's mastered it in a way that feels boring is the wrong word, but like, okay, cool. Just let's get on to the next thing. So some of the action in the film is really well done. Some of it feels like, okay, you just needed an action scene here, and Steven's going to deliver it, but there didn't seem to be a lot of heart behind it. There's a sequence here, which is weird. I'm hearing a lot of people really love this sequence, and I immediately compared it to something else in Steven Spielberg's filmography. So there's a sequence on a train in this film, and I won't spoil anything about it, but there's a sequence on a train, and immediately you can call to mind the opening sequence of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which starts with a sequence on a train. Now, the tone of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and the tone of Disclosure Day are very different. What they're aiming for is very different. We've got two adult characters here versus Indy, which, he's a child in that sequence, a teen, a young teen. And so it is inherently different. But the Spielbergisms that are present in the Last Crusade, like the adventure, the fun of like hopping from train to train, from car to car, and then obviously like John Williams' score, which is like highlighting all of the whimsy that there is to mine from that sequence and all of the danger. This feels like, in Disclosure Day, it feels a little bland. So again, not really knocking Spielberg. It is done well, but I think maybe in terms of like story placement and just the story itself, it does feel a little like, okay, just get to the next thing. And so to that end, one of the great things about this film are the performances. And so I found myself waiting through the action scenes to get to the next actorly scene, because those are the moments where Spielberg really cares. And you can see, I said this when I walked out of the theater, nobody blocks a scene like Steven Spielberg. Actors move through space in such a unique but like important way in a Spielberg movie that each movement means something, and not just limited to the actors, but the camera is also a character in the film. The camera floats through space in a Spielberg movie in a way that's so fluid and perfect and precise and motivated that those are the scenes that stand out to me. It's okay, cool. Let's watch these characters unfold. I would much rather watch that than the action scenes at this point. Maybe it's because, I've seen him do it a million times. But all that said, Steven clearly still has the goods. John Williams is 94 years old and scored this film.
Just looking at that, that's crazy.
It is crazy to me. And it's amazing. Great. There are obviously shades of like there are moments where you're like, oh yeah, this is him, right? Because Colin Firth plays like the big bad. Yeah. And when he's on screen, you have like those low low frequency instruments that are really doing that John Williams-y thing where it's like do bo, 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 bo. And it's like, oh cool, like, oh, it's John Williams. And then like you have this moment that's supposed to be like really tender and sweet, and he brings out the piano and it feels very much like E.T. And you're like, immediately, like it feels like you're home. It feels like this is Spielberg. This is what he wants. Like this is where he shines. To that end, there are like shots that feel like they're pulled from E.T. and you're like, this is Spielberg. Janusz Kaminski is still shooting these films for him. I was just looking at that as well. You and I have talked about Kaminski before. I'm not a huge fan of Kaminski's work. Mm-hmm. I understand his collaboration with Spielberg is long lasting. I would really love to see Spielberg find a new person. I think it just kind of makes Spielberg's movies feel samey to a degree, like visually. Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. Look, it's a good movie. Mm-hmm. It deserves to be seen. Do I think you need to rush out and see it in theaters? It's a hard question. On one hand, no, because I think you could watch this on streaming and be okay. I think you could watch a matinee, in a few weeks and be fine. But I also go, and yet to support Steven, to support a film that's based on nothing, to support, original ideas and actors doing actorly things, yes, please go see this movie. But at the end of the day, I also know that the film isn't likely to connect with a lot of people. And I could talk more about that. I don't want to spoil too much, honestly.
Sure.
But I could talk more about that when we hit, a little deeper into it if you'd like to. But I think that clearly Steven has something to say. David Koepp has something to say. And Spielberg is still top of his game in terms of, creating a film like this. So I think, like I've said before, I think Steven is the greatest living filmmaker we have. Mm-hmm. I stand by that. I think even working today, his work is still miles above most other directors. And if you say, why do you think that? Why do you think Steven's work is above everyone else? Is it just nostalgia? I go, no. It is probably partly taste, but I think it is a matter of Steven comes from an old school perspective that a lot of the current guard have largely forgotten.
Yeah.
The idea of like mise en scène, like let the film play, let the actors move, block it so that there's a great shot in this film where it makes you think, right? Like there's a character who's ducked behind a fence line and the camera's behind him and you see him, the character's ducked behind it. He's facing the camera. You see what's going on behind him. And then the camera like swings around, seemingly goes through the fence, comes around to him. The character turns. Now the character's facing the action and the camera now, because the camera's gone 180. The camera tracks with him along the fence line and then comes back through the fence line to get back behind him. It's this gorgeous oneer. Yeah. And he pushes up through into a car. So the character gets into a car. The camera comes around the passenger side of the car. Both car doors are open. And the camera gets in the car. The car starts and the car starts moving. And, it's a great shot. The way that camera moves in that moment makes you think. It makes you feel like you're with our character. It makes you tense the way the character is tense. And it's something that most directors don't do. It's one thing to do a oneer. It's another thing to do a oneer that puts the audience in the frame of mind and the feeling of the character. Yeah. And Steven can do that. Likewise, there's a shot early in the film. It's the introduction of Colin Firth's character. He's introduced in classic Spielberg fashion. There's characters in the back of a vehicle and they're like going through a bag and like henchmen basically. And the camera's on on them in the hatchback of this SUV. The camera pushes around them. The driver's side door is open and it's raining. So the camera pushes into the window of the car door and there's droplets, coming down the window. And but on the other side of the window is the back of Colin Firth. And you have Williams' score coming in. The camera pushes in as tight as it can on the frame of the window, the car window. And then in the top corner where there's nothing, suddenly a spill of light comes. It's, one of the times that Kaminsky's bright highlights work really well. A door opens and now we see the light shining to illuminate a stairwell as a character descends toward Colin Firth. And the whole thing plays out super dramatically. It feels great. Any other director working today would have framed it like there would be a cut. There would be like a whip around Colin Firth. There would be some kind of something. Steven lingers on the back of Colin's head. And it's great. likewise, there's a moment between two characters at a table. They're sitting at opposite ends of the table. It could be a very boring scene, but it's the most tense scene of the film, and the characters don't physically touch, but there is a sense of dread that Spielberg is able to pull from you because he's studied the masters. He knows, like from Hitchcock, how to build dread between two characters just talking. And so you think of like Marion and Norman Bates in Psycho, and that those characters can just talk, and through camera angles and cutting, we start to feel anxious. Steven can do that too. So I'm like giving him his flowers. Like, this is a great filmmaker who knows how to incite a feeling in the audience that most filmmakers cannot do. And that's even in a script that I think is ultimately a little bit weak.
The gulf between Steven Spielberg and like other directors, this massive difference in talent. And then another part of me is like, it's not that big of a gulf. You just have to give a shit and plan a little bit.
Yeah.
And take your time. Yeah, it's talent, but like there's also like obviously with age and being a fucking legend, you know, like you gain confidence and clout, and you can tell the studio like, no, that timetable doesn't work for me. I'll shoot it in this many days. And if you don't like it,
there is no, if you don't like it, they just go, yes, Steven.
Yeah, that's true. Like if you don't like it, you're going to like it. I just prefer seeing a scene without excessive cuts because as an editor, it's like, well, I know how much you can polish a turd with editing. Editing can do a whole lot. We got carried away with editing, Dustin.
Yeah.
Editing is great. And the more we discovered what we could do with it, the more we were like, we can make shitty stuff look less shitty and maybe even passable. And we can turn people into we can make people look good. Who deserve it.
Good. Yeah.
Directors like Spielberg, it's almost like I respect like when you've got like a complex editing system, and even these days with like a volume or shit, like what might be possible in the future, like with like face replacements and like, oh, let's fix their expression to this performance, like all this other terrifying shit that I don't want to think about. Think of all the tools that we have and will have in post-production to fix a performance. And I always respect anyone who has all that and goes, I'd rather just shoot it wide and let them walk around the room and, you know, perform and just show that.
Yes. 100%.
And I guess it's that confidence and that just that, like, we don't have to do all this stuff. We can just plan. And I think that's what's missing is the planning. I think a lot of directors know that they can reasonably save a movie in post. And if they can't save it, they can at least cut it together. Yeah. And because it's like, you shoot the coverage, you have it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like any moron can shoot the coverage, shot, reverse shot. You've got a movie. You just have one that looks boring.
Yeah, totally. Well, so there's a really good point in this, and I agree with you. I think it's planning. I think it's intentionality that's missing. There's a really good case study here in this film. When we're introduced to Emily Blunt's character, she is like getting ready for work, and she's trying to like get everything going. Like Wyatt Russell's there and he's like, hey, you know, whatever, babe, it's fine. And she's like, no. You don't understand. Like, I need you to watch that interview tape that I did. I need you to give me a critique on it. I need you to do this. Yeah.
I do have I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What kind of musician is he?
He has guitars.
Is he like acoustic, like Tom Petty-esque? Do we ever see him perform?
No.
Okay, sorry.
He doesn't factor that much into the film.
Of the movie.
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
Doesn't factor that much. Yeah.
It's the Midwest. I would think he's some kind of like folksy.
Sure.
Sorry,
he's Wyatt Russell.
My version of this script would have been cut immediately. Like, there's
why is there a 20-minute performance?
There's so much in here about Wyatt Russell's music career.
An alien on drums.
The love interest of one of the characters. Why is there so much detail?
Yes.
I'd like to novelize this movie.
That's right.
There'd be interstitials.
12 chapters of What's he up to?
It'd be one of those children's
what's his
books where
story?
You push the button and you hear music.
Yeah, right. That's it.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, so she's like, you know, a little bit frantic, a little bit scattered. She's like trying to do all these things and still get to work on time. And like, she's talking a mile a minute. He's like, hey, chill out, babe, you know, whatever. And she's doing her thing. That scene has a lot of cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it makes us feel as frantic as she is.
Purposeful.
It supports her characterization.
Yeah.
So not only is Emily Blunt performing in a way that's frantic, in a way that's anxious, in a way that's scattered, in a way that's like a mile a minute, but also the camera itself is doing it.
Yeah.
The edits are doing it. Everything is working in support of showing us who this character is. And that's what separates a good director from an okay director.
Yeah.
An okay director gets coverage of that scene, says to the actor, act anxious. They act anxious. Great. We covered it. Here it is. Steven goes, in order to sell that to the audience, it's not just on Emily to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, camera op, you gotta use some whip bands here. You gotta move.
Yep.
And then he's saying to his editor, chop it up.
Chop it up.
And they're doing it.
Let's take the shoulder mount off the camera so it's less steady.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
And then conversely, in those moments where characters are just talking, sometimes nothing moves and there are no cuts.
Yeah.
And it's fine because you're allowing your actors to sell it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to and it's to taste, right? Season to taste. Sometimes it's okay to do both options.
Yeah.
But you got to be consistent, like internally consistent with it. And the language of your film needs to matter. Now, he's also handling some really surreal things in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it in a way that always makes sense. It would be really easy because the script doesn't give you enough lore to understand what's happening. Steven has to make it make sense with editing and camera work.
Yeah.
And that's as vague as I can be with it. But you'll know when you see it, there are things that like story-wise don't make sense. So we sell it in every way we have available to us. I'll say this, they don't make sense yet. We haven't, the audience hasn't been clued in. So in order for us to get enough that we need to understand the stakes, we're going to sell that through camera. We're going to sell that through editing. There are some glorious match cutting going on between characters in different places.
Yeah.
And you see like a character move and then a character complete that motion in another place. Right.
Yeah.
And it works really well. And those are well thought out moments.
That's stuff that like normal people do not give a shit about. But like to me, a good match cut is like, oh, thank God.
It's heaven, isn't it?
It's so good.
It's awesome. And
it's like eating a yummy sandwich.
Right. And then you also have, there's a oneer that Emily Blunt does. And I watched an interview with Steven where he goes, I wasn't going to do it in a oneer. Mm-hmm. And then Emily came up and said, I want to do it in a oneer. And he goes, I'll think about it. And he went home.
And that's clout too.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Emily Blunt. Hey, Steven Spielberg, I think I'd like this to be a oneer.
I think it'd be great if it's a oneer, Steven. And he goes, I'll think about it. And he goes home and he calls her, or I think he either called her or when they got to work the next day or whatever, he went up to her and was like, so your idea, we're doing it. Yeah. And she was like, great. And like the amount of like, yeah, that must be for her to be like, I pitched an idea to Steven and he took it.
Yeah.
And the vote of confidence that is in your lead.
Yeah.
To say like, you're in this too. Let's all make this movie together.
And just for me, like I like seeing a big A-lister like Emily Blunt now. Emily Blunt's at the point in her career where she can just kind of coast off her name.
Yeah, totally.
You know? And for her to say like, I'd like to do this, like for her to challenge herself like that.
Yeah.
You know,
That's right.
So much of the things that I appreciate about movies nobody cares except for you and me.
Yeah.
But God, like when I hear stories like that, there's just so much respect I have for that.
Yeah.
You know, for challenging yourself, you know, because that's to be lucky enough to succeed in this business and to make a living and make a great living out of it.
Yep.
And achieve, you know, like people forget that like Hollywood actors are like the top 1% of all working actors. The ones that do it full time and are famous and blah, 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 and are rich. And for a person like that to live in the comfort that they live in and to have to, in a way, manufacture ways to continue to challenge themselves because their agent's not challenging them, their representation's not challenging them, press isn't challenging them, nobody's challenging them. And because that doesn't make money. And for them to say, I want to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I do too. And it's worth pointing out that she and Josh O'Connor both play American in this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's already a little bit of challenge there. But and they both do it really well. It just works really well. Like all the pieces are working really well. Mm-hmm. It's just that script. And so in terms of the script, like it's not that it's a bad script. It's just that it feels maybe they withhold too much. Mm-hmm. And so it feels like, did you think that through? I don't know if I believe you yet.
No.
That prevails over it. And then some of it is like, just, okay, I guess that happens because it can, but why can it? And there is some of like, it isn't explained. And then, you know, there's also like some leaps that it takes where, you know, the idea that Disclosure Day would bring everything to a grinding halt, that every person on every street in every town in America would be glued to their phone.
Yeah.
I just don't know that anything anymore is that big that it pauses life. Like the last big event was like 9/11.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever have another event that pauses life the way that did.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Because it just feels now like everything would be like somehow polarizing.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be like, oh snap, we're all in this together.
Not a Spielberg
again.
movie.
But not a Spielberg movie.
That's the only like culturally way that Spielberg feels nostalgic.
Yeah.
Is that his movies operate in like there's still a monoculture.
Oh, sure.
You know, which is nice. But it's not true. It's not what we live in.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's part of the appeal of his movies is like, oh, we still feel like one people kind of when big things happen.
Yeah, totally.
And you're right. Like if this were made by like any other big director or any director, it would be some people saying it was fake. Yeah. Some people would say that's cool. I'll watch it after I get done with work. Or like, I don't care. This doesn't change my economic circumstances.
Yes.
You know, like just like, oh, cool. There's aliens. Do I still have to go to work? I do.
Yeah, right.
Great. Then I don't give a shit. You know?
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so two things I would say. One, if you're expecting a lot of alien in this film, temper your expectations.
Yeah.
That's
Is
one.
More or less alien than War of the Worlds?
Less.
And War of the Worlds had plenty of alien.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I know some people were a little underwhelmed by War of the Worlds. I wasn't. I mean,
this is where seeing a trailer does kind of help with that. You know, you watch the trailer that we have played on this show, this episode, there's no alien in it.
Yeah.
Not one. Yep. And so for me, part of me goes, oh, they're not finished with the effects.
Sure.
But another part of me is like, don't expect that much alien.
Don't expect it. Yeah.
This,
You're not going to have them.
I saw the trailer and I saw like, this is just giving me a lot of weird shit happening and human beings emoting about it.
Yep.
Which is fine.
Right. I'm just like talking about potential issues with the screenplay at this point, like whether it's not enough alien or like whatever, you know, the monoculture thing. One thing is like the the agents that are after the hard drives that have been stolen by Josh O'Connor seem to be fairly inept in a way that feels too easy or too convenient for untrained people to be on the run for long from highly trained people.
Right. Yeah.
And at certain points, it can feel a little Three Stooges-ish. Like,
they're slipping in puddles. And
whoa. Whatever. I believe, I haven't seen this, but I believe that a lot of people would be like, oh, come on. That's not the way agents would operate.
And if I'm to profile David Koepp, I don't know how old that guy is, 60 something. I don't know, but like that feels like an older screenwriter thing. Oh, they can't catch him. I feel like he either wrote in those set pieces or he just says they can't catch him and someone else had to figure it out.
Well, even the train sequence, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but they're trying to climb on the ladder on the exterior of one of the train cars. Yeah. So if you're moving parallel with the train, that's an easy target because they're just hanging.
Yes.
Right. They're moving vertically. And there's an agent, the second in command,
the guy
is driving perfectly in line with him and firing at him and can't hit him.
And
I'm like I just don't know if I buy it.
I'm sorry. No,
I get it. I understand. That's probably still a really hard shot to make. I couldn't make it. I also have not been a lifelong.
You'd never, but if you were that guy, you could make it.
You would have to
then
make
it. Just makes him look like an idiot.
At least graze him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something. But
make impact.
Even to like sell it at one point, he lines up a shot and click, nothing. And he has to look at his gun like, what's happening here? Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, you're reload.
No.
That should be a very, like, you shouldn't get clean to the click. Yeah. You should be new mag.
The only reason that would work is if you had him fall in one of those puddles earlier. Yeah. And now his gun's wet. Doesn't work good.
Or, I lost my mag.
But you know what? That guy would have a pistol that can get wet. There are guns that are made for this.
Sure.
This has happened enough. They're like, shit, we should make a gun that can fire after it's been underwater.
Correct.
That man would have one. He'd say, right. I have a tendency to slip in puddles when I'm chasing people who have secrets.
Exactly right.
I'm going to get one of those, whatever.
And to your point, it's a very old school way of thinking. It feels like, well, the bad guys can't hit the good guys.
Yeah. And with the internet and millennials like us, like, you know, in the industry now and like movie critique and like TikTok, all that stuff is like exploded, like nitpicks about movies. But one that I am fine with and would like to see addressed in movies more is stuff like that, where it's like, let's see more movies where like there's other characters who are with our protagonists and they're climbing on the train and they get fucking shot because he's driving right there and he's the best.
Yeah.
Bam. Right. Oh, that guy's dead. Bam. That guy's dead. Oh shit. Let's get in the train. Hurry.
Well, you got to you got to do one of two things. Either that guy is going to shoot them.
Yeah.
Or he's going to hit his mark.
Yeah.
Or something else happens. And you don't want to Deus Ex Machina it and whatever.
Oh shit. There's a cow. Got to stop the car.
Sure. But like no matter what you do, it's Deus Ex Machina.
Sure.
Unless you've set something up that there's somebody else in the scene, in the sequence, and then you can do something. Or it's a prime time for like alien mischief to happen. Yeah. Right. And something supernatural to occur.
Do our protagonists have firearms?
They do not.
Why?
They do not.
That would be a good time. One of them's on the train already, returning fire. Now the guy can't shoot right away. He's got to keep the car straight, not get shot himself.
That's right. But also, like, the scene that precedes it is it's another very easy scene where, and again, I don't want to spoil anything, but when you eventually see this film, you'll understand, like, get to the train sequence and go, oh, what was the last scene? Oh yeah, that was really easy. It's a very easy, they've built to this moment, this big dramatic moment, and it just super easy.
Yeah.
Very conveniently ended. And then this sequence happens, which feels very convenient. I can't hit my mark. And so it's stuff like that where I'm like, okay, we gotta we got to do better.
Yeah.
And like Steven is better, right?
Yeah.
Steven knows better. The Indiana Jones movies, yeah, Indy has plot armor.
Yes.
For sure. But you never feel like he's safe.
Right.
He is.
Yeah.
But you don't feel like he is. Like he's tied to a chair and everything's on fire. He's, whatever, stuck. He's in a pit of snakes, whatever it is. Like he does always feel like he's in danger in some way.
Yeah.
And that anything could happen, even though realistically, they're not going to kill him and he's not going to get seriously injured.
Yeah.
But anything could happen. It feels believable. It's plausible.
Yeah.
This didn't feel believable or plausible that our characters could get hurt. That's a problem.
And I wonder if part of Steven Spielberg is just like, well, it's not my script. Like, what do I give a shit?
Maybe.
Is he at that age? He goes, that's fine.
I'm more interested in the talking.
I'll do my best with this scene, but I'm not. This isn't why I'm here. This dream sequence.
Yes. And then lastly, like one of the film's big themes is, so Josh O'Connor's character has a girlfriend who early in the film we discover she, at least at one point in her life, was to become a nun. And she decided not to be a nun, and that's fine, but they end up at the monastery and whatever. And so it begins this film long question of, if aliens are disclosed to the public, if we find we're not alone in the universe, what does this do to one's faith in God?
Yeah.
And so it begins this thing, which then gets, when she finds out about the aliens, begins to brew in her and then come out in her dialogue of like, I don't know if people need to know this because it's going to wreck people's faith.
Sure.
So now you have conflict, which is great, but also you're continuing your theme of like faith versus extraterrestrial life. Yeah. Whatever. Space. And then it culminates with like with this girl's like nun mentor or whatever, who's like, I think I don't have a problem. It wouldn't wreck my faith if there are aliens.
Yeah.
And then she proceeds to explain why. It's all very on the nose.
Sure.
And I don't really know what point of view the film is trying to make, other than to like pose the question.
Sure.
Like, would it wreck your faith? But I don't know that the film ever takes a stance on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't know that the film ever fully examines the question itself sets up, which is, if we're not alone in the universe, can faith in a higher power be logical anymore? It's a good question to concern yourself with in a film like this. I wish it had done more to discuss it. And also it feels strange to me that it's so focused on the Catholic angle that it doesn't explore any other angle. And so you would think like with Spielberg's influence, we might see like a rabbi, we might see like, anybody from any other faith background or anything have something to say about this. Or we would see, once the film reaches its climax, that like maybe we would get some shots of people flocking to church, or church is empty. Right. Like the film would make us take a stance, right?
Yeah.
You'd have like a pastor outside a church and there's no one there. Or you would have like, someone outside of a mosque and there's just like a billion people, like everyone's going to it feels like that's an easy thing to then, but you have to say something. You can't just raise the question. And I felt like the film kind of just raised the question and didn't really have a point of view, or it wasn't trying to persuade in any kind of interesting way. Like, religious affiliation is a good thing. It presents like a strong moral framework at the very least, or whatever. It doesn't aim for anything lofty with that question. And I wish that it had. So all of the like flaws of this film, I kind of lay them on David Koepp's screenplay. And I don't know what, like, I understand why Steven wanted to make the movie, but I also feel like it probably should have gone to another writer, or I don't know, David, you got to just fix some of this. Yeah. Like, what's your point of view? David Koepp, Steven Spielberg, what's your point of view in the faith versus E.T. thing?
Yeah, this would be a good time to be a writer.
Yeah,
and just have a perspective.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah,
there is a case to be made for the film that raises a question. Mm-hmm. But more often than not, the most satisfying thing that a film can do is make a statement.
Say something.
Which I understand this is also starting to border on like propaganda, but what you're saying is like, I'm trying to make a truth claim about the way that I see the world. And in a way, every piece of art does that anyway.
You have to think that the original idea for this script was this question.
Sure.
You know, like if you're David Koepp and you're writing a movie about aliens, it's like, well, what's your angle? Yeah. It's not, well, I think the plot would unfold this way. Sure. It's like, what am I interested in? And it would be, we always talk about how movies start with these one little question that like is like a nugget at the end of a movie. And like all the plot and character development, what you see in trailers and what you talk about after you've seen it are not the thing that got the idea started in the first place. And for this, it sounds like it would be if we were told that if we were shown proof of extraterrestrial life, what would it do to our religious faith?
Sure.
And you start there. And then all the other stuff, like, well, I think they would communicate like this, and they would do clicks, and they would like give people gifts and they would be drawn to each other. Like all this stuff. It's like, that's plot. That's like, okay, how do I make this story different and interesting? But that's not the main idea.
Yes.
You know?
Here's my question on that. And I agree with you. I think that the germ of the idea must have been what happens to life after we find out about aliens, right? That had to be, and whether that's specifically faith angle or economic angle or governmental angle or personal, but regardless the angle, it seems like the germ of the idea is what happens to the world when this is disclosed. Mm-hmm. The problem is the film's climax is the disclosure, which means we actually don't see how the world reacts to this. So all we see is the battle to get it disclosed, not the way the world reacts to the disclosure.
That's a bummer.
And that feels like a missed opportunity, because I would have rather have seen, and maybe that's because like, okay, there's more to be mined from like the post-apocalyptic angle. You've got like the religious people who are like, these aliens are deities. And you have all of the people who are like running out and buying all the toilet paper. You have like all the things happening, right? Like, well, we better stock up. And then it starts to feel like War of the Worlds, right?
Sure.
So maybe that's why you don't go that way. But at the same time, that is the more interesting angle than I have this secret. Here it is on all these thumb drives. We got to get this to the thing. We got to get this to the public. That can be fine, but it almost by necessity means you can't pose any questions about what life will be like after, because the film's not going to stick around to make a statement on it. You almost just have to say, the question almost can't be that. It has to be, is it worth it to know the truth, even if it disrupts everything?
Sure.
Or would you rather be blind to the truth to preserve life as you know it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the question. That should be the nugget of the idea.
Right.
Is Josh O'Connor right for trying to get this to the people?
Yeah.
Or is he wrong? And that's where the film should live. Now, in its defense, I think that is a question that it tackles, but it doesn't tackle it well enough, because by default, he is our protagonist and our antagonists want it to not be disclosed to the public. And therefore, by default, we kind of align with the protagonist without having to do the moral Olympics ourselves of like, what do we believe? What do I believe? Is it better to know it? Is it better to not? Yeah. And his girlfriend poses this question, right? You know it's going to disrupt everything. Why do it? And that has to be the germ. The whole thing has to be, I'm doing it because blank. And then you have to feed his character journey with the idea of truth mattering to him. Why? Well, maybe when I was a child, something happened. I needed the truth. I didn't get it. And now I ended up there, right? I ended up in this place. I ended up in this, hellhole for 20 years. And now I'm trying to claw my way back out of the muck and the mire to do. This is personal for me.
Yeah.
You always have to have the truth, and you need a character that's strong like that. You always have to have the truth.
Yeah.
And that's where the nugget of the idea should be. So maybe because it does tackle that and it does tackle the faith angle, it's like you should have removed the faith angle so you could focus on the other, because the faith angle was never going to be resolved in a satisfactory way, unless you did a 5-year epilogue.
Yeah.
Where the aliens are in a church service also worshiping God. You have like an alien priest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Alien with the collar and whatever. It's like a guy going to confession, and then you see an alien on the other side of the confessional.
Yeah, just nodding. There's one of them's officiating a gay wedding.
Whatever it is, right? Like an alien rabbi, or whatever. Whatever it is. It's they're lifting up an alien, 13-year-old or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it just whatever it is, but like the aliens have also assimilated into our faith rituals. Maybe that's an angle, right? But like it's a goofy angle, so don't do it. Please don't do it.
Right.
But also like the idea of, what happens to these faith units in the wake of this. Cut 5 years in the future and every church is closed. Yeah. Or 5 years in the future, the churches are thriving despite the alien. The closing shot is a church. It's like people dressed in Sunday best going into the church, holding their Bibles, holding their the kids' hands, whatever. They're all going in. It's idyllic. It's beautiful. It's whatever. And then the camera like pans up and you see the church, you see the steeple, and then a ship hovering right over it in the background somewhere. Yeah. And it's like, despite that, these people are still going to church. Yeah. That's an angle. Right. And it's a beautiful, that would be a beautiful last shot. But I don't know what, I just don't know what the statement is here.
I feel like, and I want to get your angle on this, but like if I were to have written that into the movie, or even that scene, like that question, there's a ton of ways you could do it. But I feel like if you were to make a statement on how, like if this were to happen to us today, like what would it do? Like, would it change faith traditions? How would people handle truth? I think you insert that, like some people just are simply not going to believe it. Some people will politicize it. Some people will, will renounce the way they live because like it's pointless, like it just depends on, is this a threat or is this just information that we have? You could have them have a conversation about what does it say about our faith in God if there are extraterrestrials, and someone could point out would that disprove your belief? Like, no, it wouldn't, because God created them too. But it's like, but like, so for you to not accept God now that there are aliens, it's like not accepting God because there are like gay people or, I don't know, bad weather, death, like things that are, those are not equal to each other. I guess what I mean is like things that are not like you, or things that you may not like, that nonetheless exist. would all be part of God's creation. So like, what would extraterrestrial life change at all? Like if that changes your faith in God, then it seems like your faith in God might be limited to human beings instead of like all creatures. Like there's fucking animals, you know, so just because aliens aren't in the Bible, would you then accept or not accept that? So I feel like that would be an angle. You could have some people saying like, no, I don't believe that God would create aliens. So now like I'm all fucked up, you know, cause like
I can't
now there's aliens.
Believe
I can't believe it. And so you could have that, you know, you could point out that like, oh, there's aliens. Recently they tried to like put up like stuff on the White House website to, you know, to talk about aliens. It was a big distraction. But the point is they were like, there's aliens, and people were like, cool, I can't afford my rent, you know? And so it's like, that's an angle. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't change my day to day. My boss says I still have to come to work. I still have to pay my mortgage, and I still have to eat. So it changes unless I'm under direct, unless we're being invaded, I'm going to keep on keeping on. Yeah. You know, those are all angles you could have to this.
Oh, 100%. And I also think like you're ignoring the thing, which is like, as somebody who's within those faith circles, there are certainly like, I've heard as throughout the years, people being like, well, if they were aliens, they would just be demons. And I'm like, oh, so like there would definitely be people who are seeing the aliens and going like, those are just, and even if the aliens were like kind and like, here's a new fruit, we invented it.
Here's
and you're
some
like,
muffins.
Yeah, right. We love it. It's great.
Get away from me, Satan.
You're just a demon.
We have to destroy them. Yeah.
And then likewise, you'd also have people who are like, they're angels.
Yeah, they're exactly. They're angels.
Right. You'd have all of the different things, all the permutations of what this is. Exactly. Like they're not aliens, they're angels. Yeah. The Bible talks about the heavenly host and like, that's what these people are. Right. It's like, okay, fine. Like you would have all of the spectrum of this.
People would essentially project their preconceived beliefs onto aliens until proven otherwise.
And the truth is, ideally, so I can only speak for Christians because that's what I am. Yeah. Ideally, if you're a Christian, you have done the logical investigation for yourself and found the evidence compelling, and therefore then believe what you believe. The idea that the Bible or anybody ever asks Christians to believe blindly is 100% not the truth. There is no blind faith in Christianity. There are people who believe blindly, and those people are not doing themselves a service, nor are they doing their due diligence to understand anything in the world. But the prescription for Christianity is not believe blindly. The prescription is, here is this whole book we believe is evidence. Yeah. So now test it. Yeah. And like, that's the thing.
Apply it.
So the idea of theoretically, if you're a Christian, you've done that mental framework you've built a mental framework of this is built on truth. So then if aliens come in, there's nothing in scripture that contradicts it. So aliens coming in would not then invalidate the idea that Jesus was a real person who lived and walked and died and rose again. Sure. That doesn't contradict that. So now you have just another thing to think like, oh, here's another piece of the big mystery of the tapestry of the cosmos, which I believe may have, in my framework, is created by God. Yeah. And so therefore, my question is, did God create these aliens? Right. Yeah, surely. Why not? And then you just have to like it shouldn't dismantle it unless you're built on nothing already. If you've built it on, well, I believe because my parents believed and their parents believed, then you're built on nothing. And then when aliens come in, you go haywire because you're like, my grandpa didn't believe in aliens. Right. And so how can I? But if you've done the mental legwork that doesn't do anything for you. And then you can find a way to say, given the new evidence, does it invalidate the evidence I've already gotten? This new evidence.
Yeah.
If not, then how can they both work together? If it does, then the old evidence has to go.
Yeah. Like to me, the belief in God and in creation, and the norm of not thinking about or encountering extraterrestrial life are not tied together. One is a belief and the other is a norm. And once the norm changes and it's like, hey, by the way, now there's aliens. Now you've got to think about this. It's not, well, God created our solar system, but not the other one. Because then it's like, doesn't sound like an all powerful God to me, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, so are there, does that mean there's other gods? So it's, to me, that's a layup. Like if you believe in God and creation and then there's extraterrestrials, the first thing I'd think is, oh, okay, great.
We weren't the only things created.
Right.
But I also would say like this is akin to the problem which has been posed to Christians for a long time. And there are good answers to this if you look for it, or even just think about it for a second, is okay, good God, why childhood cancer?
Yeah.
Childhood cancer is a norm. This is a thing that happens.
Right.
So how does your belief inform the thing? How does the evidence of this book and his historical documents and blah blah blah? How does that live alongside the evidence of childhood cancer? It'd be one thing if Scripture said there will be no childhood cancer, and then you see childhood cancer, then you're like, oh, these things cannot exist in Congress. They're incongruent.
Yeah.
But however, if you go, okay, well, Scripture doesn't say everyone will be healthy all the time.
Sure.
There is childhood cancer. These things are compatible.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are they compatible? Now we have to have a philosophical conversation about why a good God would allow an evil thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a conversation we can have, and you can get there mentally.
Yeah.
And people align on both sides of that argument. Well, a good God can't. And then people go, well, I believe a good God can.
Sure.
And so now you have to do the framework of, okay, there are smart people on both sides of that argument.
Yeah.
Where does the evidence lead me? The evidence is there is childhood cancer.
Right.
That ain't changing.
Yeah.
That's there. So in other words, but this is not the philosophical cast, but my point is you
not yet.
Yeah. But you have the
we're gonna age into it, Dustin.
Yeah, that's the spinoff. But this is akin to that, right?
Yeah.
There are always questions posed to believers to say, how can your belief system work with this thing we observe?
Yeah.
And then it's up to the Christian to have the answer for that. And anyway, all that to say, we could talk more about that, but within the context of our discussion here about a fictional film, these are interesting dialogues which the film does not try to tackle.
Right.
It like glosses over it, pushes it in your face for a second, and then and runs from it.
Yeah.
And it's a mental grenade. They pull the pin and throw it at you, and then they expect you to go, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this. But the film makes no statement on it. Yeah. And that's where I think it goes wrong. They shouldn't have brought it up if they couldn't have made a statement on it.
Yeah. And it was a perfect opportunity to do it, you know?
Sure. The second this is revealed to the public, you just have shots of how this is affecting across the country, across the world.
Yeah.
And what is this doing?
You could do a montage. You don't even have to have people talking. Just show a guy closing the doors of a church with a forlorn look on his face, like, guess no one believes. And then show another guy in another church, another city, like, oh, my people do.
Everyone's flocking
people
here.
Are flocking to us, you know, or just mixed. Like, you show the mixed reaction. Some people are abandoning their faith. Some people are much more into it now. Some people are coming to work. Some people are just doing the thing because that's all they know how to do. That's their constant.
That's right. And I think that some people would say, well, that's a non-committal answer. You're not saying it. I'm like, no, that is the answer.
It's an answer.
The answer is, as David Koepp, as the screenwriter, I believe that there is no broad brush we can paint with.
Right.
The answer is, if aliens were revealed to the public today, humankind would not all act in one singular way.
No.
There would be a spectrum of ways in which people deal with that information. Some would go into church and they haven't been in a decade. And some would have been to church their whole lives and walk away.
Abandoned.
And some would continue as if nothing had ever happened. And all of those things. And that is an answer.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, well, all the churches closed, no faith anymore. And it doesn't have to be like, everyone's now a believer. Everyone said, oh, the things came from the sky. I guess there's more to this world than I thought. I guess I believe in God now. That's not, you don't have to go 100% extreme in either direction. Yeah. It can be the spectrum of whatever.
Sadly,
exists.
I'd still be going to work.
Yeah, right.
Like if a ship, like in District 9, if the ship just hovered over New York City.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'd be like, okay, but if it flies away in 3 days, I have to explain why I wasn't at work.
That's right. That's right. Hey, you didn't get that time approved. Unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go.
You just submit that PTO retroactively. Like,
exactly.
Oh, you're out of days. Oh, well.
Right. Me and you would still be doing this podcast. And,
right.
And there'd be a knock on my door and be like, who is that at this hour? And I'm like, oh, that's just my neighbor.
Yeah.
He moved in. He and his wife moved in next door.
Dustin, I have to go. The FBI is here to question me again.
Right.
Like they do every
alien
week.
Just wanders into frame and he's like, hey, neighbor, howdy ho. Just wondering if you have any
we probably have
eggs
one on
we
the
could
show.
borrow. Yeah, right. Yeah. But Disclosure Day is good. And I think you should see it, if only for Steven Spielberg's masterwork behind the camera. And then, but the screenplay needs some work.
It's not matching those reports of being like his best film in years or whatever.
No. And in fact, I really liked The Fabelmans a lot.
I still haven't seen that.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
And I really liked West Side Story. And I know that some people, I mean, obviously he's remaking a classic there, but I really liked West Side Story a lot. So I this ranks below both of them for me.
Mm.
So I don't think this is his best in years, but it's also not his worst. So yeah. So yeah,
Damn
it is funny. Like it's so trite now to say, think about Steven's filmography, but think about his filmography, dude. Like the guy has put out has probably the most meaningful filmography of anyone in film history. I would argue that the most influential filmography in film history. Like, obviously, Scorsese is great and Tarantino's great, but I don't think they've had as many cultural touchstones as Steven Spielberg has.
No. I mean, Tarantino has a tight, whatever it's going to be, 10 movies by the time he's retired, Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't consider more than like Pulp Fiction to be like
pop cultural
icon
staples. Status.
Yeah. Like they're excellent films.
Yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about them. They're just, they're entertainment. They're well executed entertainment that satisfies his personal interests.
Yep.
And their contribution to film culture and to filmmaking discourse.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't really hold a candle to Steven Spielberg, who manages to do that while also entertaining a broad audience.
Yeah.
And just continuing to show everyone like, this is what making this is real ass movie making.
Right. And if you think about like Steven's contemporaries like Scorsese, and you go like, okay, he's reached the upper echelon with like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Goodfellas.
Yeah.
It's about it, right? Like obviously there's many more movies that are fantastic in that run, but those are the movies that like became something. Everybody, even if you've never seen Taxi Driver, you talking to me?
Yeah.
It's a thing, right? But Steven, I mean, if you think about all the things, right? E.T., Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, like these movies become Jaws. These movies become more than movies. His movies are something else. And I don't know that we'll ever see someone quite like Steven Spielberg. Go see it.
Yeah.
Go solid. See it. It's solid, and Steven's an icon, and you just kind of have to sit and watch him work sometimes. And I did find myself pulled out of the movie a little bit because I was going like, oh, that camera work is fantastic. Oh, that's great. Oh, I wonder how he did that. Right. But still good stuff.
Makes you want to buy it and listen to that commentary. Yeah,
for sure. And it makes his movies more than anyone light a fire in me to go like, that feels attainable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he's working at a high level, but it also goes, he's just thinking and caring a lot.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like it's, and he would say the same thing. Like, I just give a shit about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think about it. And no one else thinks about it as much. Yeah. And that's all it really takes. You don't need money to think about stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just need time and intentionality.
Yeah.
And his movies have that for sure. So, yeah, man, Disclosure Day, 3.5 stars out of 5. Not going to change the world, but it's a good little flick.
Yeah.
And if you're into good performances, there's some good ones here. Oh yeah, Coleman Domingo's in this.
Yay.
He good.
So good.
All right, great.
I can't imagine his reaction. Like, oh my God, there's aliens in the sky.
There's aliens around here.
Holy mother of God. Okay. Well, that's it, everyone.
Sweet.
Stay tuned for maybe Toy Story 5.
We'll see.
Okay. All right, everybody. If we're not playing Toy Story 5 next week, we'll just go ahead and play the He-Man episode.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Yeah. One of those.
Next. One of those.
Coming up next on Dragon Ball Z.